Welcome WH Twitter chatters. Welcome, Clisare. Welcome Restreambot.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Do you have a cup of tea? What's the crack? How's it going? Welcome, What We Do in the Shadows. Welcome, Jen. It's good. It's going good. Ooh, look at my St. Bridget merch. Boss Bridget. I love this one. I've spent all day actually planning my St. Bridget's Day content, so I'm very excited. Very excited. Hello G Clough, hello Darth Christor. What is cracking? Everything and nothing. No crack. Well, I just put up my Vlogmas video. I put it up on my Patreon for early access. So there's a link in the description to go to that. If you want to get early access, that's going to go up on YouTube soon. Then my next video up on YouTube that I'm going to start working on is my Festival Manaw video, because I went to Festival Manaw at the start of the month, which is Ireland's only women's only festival. And it was really good. I can tell you about that if you want. And then today I spent planning my St. Bridget stuff. So reaching out to like tours and things and workshops and trying to figure out what I want to put in a St. Bridget's Day video. I think this year I want to like take a tour that like talks about the legends and the history so people get a better understanding of St. Bridget. And then also I want to talk about the breedog, the cloak, and the tradition that you leave your scarf out the night before. And I want want to learn how to do a St. Bridget's Cross. So I'm basically reaching out to because the Bridget 2025 is happening this year. It's like a 25-year celebration of St. Bridget's Day. And it's big. So there's a big one. There's a big one happening this year. So there's loads of shit on. So I spent today planning that. Welcome Saladin, welcome Carrie. Saladin says, how are you today? Or more correctly, how's Fionn today? I am good. And he is very good. He's been a very good boy today. He's been in a very good mood. I'm on a bit later than I wanted to be on. I wanted to be on around 6, but we got rid of our Christmas tree today, and I spent an hour hoovering that thing up. It was desperate. It was awful. It really went south. It was a very dead tree, and it went everywhere. So yeah, but Fionn was in a very good mood. Fair play to him. Literally wearing the Boss Bridget jumper right now. Love it. I know. This is one of my favourite merch designs I've ever made. Love it. I'm so proud of myself for that one. Yeah, I love it. The thing is, I've loads of my own merch in the t-shirts, and I just was thinking about it today, and I was like, I actually don't wear t-shirts. So when they're in sweatshirts, I wear them way more because I just love the sweatshirts. Saladin, listening to the US Supreme Court hearing arguments from TikTok and the US government, so I will be lurking. Oh my god, I should watch that instead of talking about Justin Baldoni tonight. Should I watch that and react to it? Because it's online, isn't it? I totally forgot that was today. You cannot. Okay. I thought, I can't remember her name. The YouTube lawyer is reacting to it in real time. I will explain. Okay, thank you. I'm sure you're not allowed to do it here, or you're not allowed to react to it, or maybe I won't be able to get it in Ireland.
Welcome, Jello Rayleigh.
The hearing is going to be incredibly dry. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. And Leo says, no, don't. I don't care. Okay, fine. That's fair enough. That's what I take from that. No worries. We can talk about Justin and Blake. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Who, by the way, I'd never heard of Justin Baldoni before this. Not once. Not once in my life had I ever heard that man's name. Also, my unicorn mug. Stop it. Emily D. Baker. Thank you, Jen. That's who I was talking about. Yes, she is reacting to it, I believe. I saw her hours ago. I would have thought that was over by now. But sure, fuck it. We've got all the stuff ready for Blake Lively and Justin, and sure, why not get into another contentious discussion. How are you guys? Any crack? Any news before we get into things? And anything else you want me to react to, that's also, could also do that. I remember, I don't know if you remember, but ages ago we did a chat rates my stream ideas. So we need to actually do some of those stream ideas that you rated as what you wanted to see. It's funny. Saladin, the US Supreme Court only allows audio to be streamed. And yes, I see. Okay. Yawn. I'm not just listening to audio, yeah. Fair enough. He was on Jane the Virgin, which is a fun show. I had heard of that show. I haven't heard of it in years, but someone mentioned it the other day. I think it must have been on Wednesday, actually, when I mentioned Justin Baldoni. Someone must have mentioned him in Jane the Virgin. History will be live later. Everyone is safe. That is so good to know. That is so good to know. I was getting quite worried, actually. And anyone who's in LA, stay safe, sending love and luck your way. Because all day today Alex has been coming in being like, did you hear this person's house burned down? And I've been like, oh my god. So Rainn Wilson, I think in his studio, is gone too. James Woods I saw online. So it's bad. And I keep thinking about Miley Cyrus. Didn't Miley Cyrus's house burn down in the last round of fires? And she's spoken about how it really affected her. I I can't imagine that it wouldn't, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's scary stuff. So my love to everyone in LA. Jill O'Reilly. You you bad person, you. I'm trying my hardest not to laugh at that. You're trying to get me in trouble. Saladin, the TikTok attorney and the attorney representing the TikTok creators have finished. Now the US government attorneys are answering the court's questions. Fair enough. The only interesting thing about the TikTok ban is why they're totally fine with like an American company tracking all their users' data, and they're just like, they're not okay with an American company or a Chinese company doing the exact same thing. Like Meta arguably has way more information on you, and has come out openly that they were trying to manipulate you with like, and see people's reactions to different stories, and they like to see if they could like get people to either be happy or be depressed with what they served them. Like the experiments Meta were doing are crazy. Because they can make the American companies give the government that same data. Interesting. But why would... am I so naive? Why would the American government want people's shopping habits? Like...
Welcome, Sandier.
We just had an earthquake here in San Francisco this morning. 10 more days until doomsday, January 20th. What's... Again, naive person here. What's doomsday? I didn't know there was a doomsday due in 2025, is there? I thought there was a doomsday a couple of years ago that obviously didn't work. That's really interesting. I actually want to look that up. Doomsday. Oh no, I keep doing that. I don't know if I have definitely said this online before, but maybe you haven't heard it before. But what is the doomsday clock right now? 90 seconds to midnight. Shopping and viewing habits, let them know what list was on. That's a fair point. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to Google doomsday, but I wasn't getting anything good. Yeah, I just don't understand why the government, well, sorry, I do understand. So I guess I don't understand the reasoning that they're putting forward. I don't know what it is to ban TikTok, but I do sort of buy into the conspiracy theory that the reason that America wants to ban TikTok so badly is because they can't control what people are served on it. And people are seeing viewpoints of things that it makes it harder basically to propagandize, because people are seeing actual viewpoints. And that's, TikTok is a big part of the reason, Instagram as well, I suppose, but I'm assuming TikTok is a massive part of the reason that the public kind of perception of Israel and Palestine has shifted so massively, especially in America. It's really shifted pro-Palestine, and I think that is a problem for the US government because they're funding Israel. So that's just one example of, Donald T. Doomsday. Jen, I totally missed your joke. And you actually, sorry, a couple of people said Inauguration Day, and I was like, why is everyone saying Inauguration Day in the chat? I'm sorry, I'm thick. I'm obviously just thick today. I don't know what's happening there on the screen that is a thumbs up. I don't know how they're coming up. So yeah, I maybe is it because people are liking it on YouTube? I have no idea. I'm still getting used to streaming on 2 platforms, and I actually have you can only see the Twitch chat on screen because that's the rules of Twitch. Twitch does not allow YouTube chat. Oh, hang on, you actually okay, you can only see the Twitch chat on the screen, okay? That is actually meant to only be Twitch chat. I don't understand why. Anyway, I'm going to have to fix that. But I have a chat offline where I can see everyone's messages. Okay. Mom brain is so real. What was the worst example of baby brain? And sorry, look, we're just chatting. I know you've clicked into what to talk about Blake Lively. We will get there. We're just kind of chatting, getting comfortable first, and then we're going to go for it, okay? We're going to get into it pretty soon. But I have, just while we talk about it, I did have a very good issue of baby brain. Oh, yeah. So my pièce de résistance of baby brain so far has been when I went to make tea. And so I went out to the kitchen, I filled the kettle, I turned on the kettle, I emptied out the teapot, I put in 2 fresh tea bags into the teapot, and then I thought, oh, the sugar's really low. So then I went to the cupboard and I got out a bag of sugar, and I came back over to the tea tray and I started to pour in the sugar, and as the sugar got lighter and lighter, and as the thing I was filling filled, when it got right to the top, the whole bag of sugar in it, I realised I've been pouring this into the teapot. So yeah, I wasted a whole bag of sugar and then also 2 tea bags. So that was my worst episode of baby brain. Drew, did the last live go private? I was late in the middle of watching the other one and it just stopped. Just curious. Yes. So I put it private. I am trying to edit it down. It went 3 hours. It got kind of messy at the end. Like I just ended up going off and just kind of chatting, talking to the chat, and like, so it's not very structured. So what I want to do is I'm trying to see if I can make something of the 3 hours, and if not, I'll have to re-record it as a video. But hopefully I can just piece it together and make it. No one's going to watch a 3 hour playback. So did you not have a nuanced take on H3? I had kind of too much of a nuance. Well, maybe I had no nuance. Who knows? But there was 3 hours of whatever it was, and it was too long. So I'm going to try and make it a bit more watchable, and then it'll be back up. Saying hey from LA, safe from the fires, but not safe from work. Oh God, would you not get a good fucking days at work? Peace and love, and congrats on Debaboga. Thank you so much. If the spoon doesn't stand up on its own, there's not enough sugar in the tea. Amazing. Yes, you do need to make some tea now, Darth Crystal. Right, sure, listen, sure, look, will we get into the Justin Baldoni and the Blake Lively stuff? I feel like on Twitch, we can chat and change what we're doing and move on and move up and down and all around. But I feel like on YouTube, because it's got the title, we need to get on with it. You know what I'm saying? BD, you had a good take, whatever it was. Thank you so much. Drew, yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I'm working on it, Drew. I promise it's coming back. But yeah, it was just like, I was like, nobody's gonna watch a 3 hour thing, especially the last hour is just totally off the rails. But it was interesting, and I really enjoyed that conversation, and I think that it informed me a bit more, if you know what I mean. So I really like the back and forth. It's always good to discuss these things and have these conversations. Let's get into the Blake Lively stuff. So I found a thread that has the actual complaints in it. So Oh, Jen, thank you so much. Also, actually, sorry, someone, Sanjir, you said my skin is glowing. Thank you so much. I use retinol at night. I use moisturizer with SPF in it every day. And then I don't use foundation. I use tinted moisturizer instead. And it's like, they're all popular now. Them kind of not really foundations. They're more tinted moisturizers. And then I use liquid blush and highlighter. And when I remember, I use this like primer that's like glowing primer. So basically everything I use says either glowing or glowy or whatever on it. So that's why. And then I've got obviously 2 lights here shining on my cheeks so that they look really shiny. So it's totally not me, but thank you. It's the makeup and the lights, but I do like it. I like the shiny face look. God, I'm actually going to have to take my jumper off because I'm too hot. Oh, do you know why I'm too hot? I just realised it's not the fucking tea I'm drinking, right? It's this heated blanket. So maybe I should turn the heated blanket off. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I won't be taking my jumper off. It's actually freezing in Ireland at the minute. I won't be taking my jumper off, but I'll stop with the heated blanket. Okay. So I was thinking that we would read this thread that includes the full legal complaint. And then we will go read the full legal complaint is kind of what I'm thinking. Because I don't feel there's any point rehashing over the original cancellation of Blake Lively, because she's going to address it in her complaint and she's going to talk about what happened and then she's going to say why it was his fault. And then if we have time, we can look through his counter complaint because he basically came back and said, no, you are wrong. You're a liar. And then a couple of people came out and said, actually, no, what he said in his counter complaint is not true. So does that make sense? So I'm assuming that if you don't know a huge amount about Blake Lively, we'll pick it up as we go. Hopefully the sound is okay for everyone. I know people on YouTube on Wednesday were saying it wasn't as loud as they wanted, but it's as loud as it can go. So hopefully that's okay. Unless there's another... There's another little spinny there that I could probably mess around with, but maybe I shouldn't do that while I'm live. Okay, you happy enough to go and just go through the doc? So what I'm going to do here is, hang on 2 seconds, we're going to go to... Would it be gameplay? What is the name of my... Let me see. Okay, there we go. And then I just need to get this. Why am I so baby brained? Okay. There we go. I need to... There we go. Sorry, you can't see this yet because I haven't switched. But I'm just making sure that I can get this into the thing. Okay, I think I have it. You would have to do 2 streams to go through both, or not. You'd be here for like 7 hours. Okay, Leo, you're dead right. We won't be going through different sort. We're gonna like skim through Blake Lively's complaint, and if people are mad about that, I don't care. We can do it part 2 if people want to hear Justin's side. Okay. Transition to this one. do this window. Go. Okay. Hey. Now, I'm wondering, am I okay here in my little box? Yeah, I don't need a green screen. It's fine. I must change my background. That is one of the things I'm wanting to do. Okay, everyone can see that? So this is a thread by somebody on Twitter. I would be lying if I told you that I knew who it was. A zillennial brand marketing expert, apparently. Okay. I just finished reading the entire 250 million lawsuit by Justin Baldoni against New York Times. I stayed open-minded, waiting for solid evidence that shows that Justin Baldoni never crossed the line with Blake Lively. 2 thoughts. The lawyer's tone was not very level-headed, and basically she summed it up as, look, she gave consent this one time via text, therefore he couldn't have possibly harassed her another time. I think NYT is going to win this one. Okay, so the thread, is actually about Justin Baldoni suing the New York Times, who reported on the original Blake Lively lawsuit, if I'm not mistaken. But she shared the Blake Lively complaint, which is here. So it says who she's suing. So basically she says that there was an all-hands meeting at the start to address a hostile work environment that had nearly derailed the production of the film. And she chose her husband as her do you want me to... okay, I'm going to read through this at a quick... Oh, hang on, that doesn't look great. A quick-ish rate, and then we're going... But I'm not going to... I'm going to skip bits of it and kind of try to give you the short version, but I want to give you the... Okay, that's a bit better there, is it? Alrighty then. Okay. Now, that a bit better? Okay, so on January 4, 2004, prior to resuming filming of It Ends With Us, following the strikes, there was an all-hands meeting, and Justin Baldoni was there, and the chief executive officer was there, and a number of producer and the film's representative for Sony Pictures was there. Todd Black, the producer, was there, and Miss Lively was there. Blake, who was Lily Bloom in the film, and she had the agreed upon right to have a representative present, and she chose her husband because the meeting was about repeated sexual harassment and other disturbing behaviour by Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath, who was the chief executive officer of Wayfair and producer of the film. Goddamn. Okay. G-Clough, the Blake Lively has so much info and evidence in it. I almost think it's a setup. Then I remember people are stupid and do say things like that in texts and emails. Yeah, you do think sometimes you're like, why on earth would you put that in writing? But then you forget that normal people don't think that they're ever going to get subpoenaed for anything. And they, mad. But, everyone sent an edgy voice note, a voice note where they're like, don't you dare forward this to anyone. And you're like, if they forwarded that to someone, I'd be so much trouble. No? Yeah, no, me neither. During the January 4th meeting, the parties discussed in detail the inappropriate conduct that I'm just going to say Blake, if you don't mind, her employees and other cast and crew experienced at the hands of Justin and... who's the other guy? Jamie. Justin and Jamie. After the list below was reviewed and discussed in its entirety, all parties present... What is wrong with me? I can't speak. All parties present agreed that the outlined conduct would ease. Okay. No more showing nude videos or images of it. By the way, this is clearly a screenshot of a notes app or some kind of thing where they've written down and agreed to these. The fact that you even have agreed to these rules tells me that they were fucking happening. Do you know what I mean? That's crazy. And then, what are you trying to pretend you didn't do this shit? I don't understand. No more showing nude videos or images of women, including producer's wife. to Blake Lively and or her employees. When I heard that one of the producers was showing naked pictures or videos of his wife, I was so fucking mad. I haven't heard a huge amount of this, but I've heard that was one of the things I did hear. And like, that is so, what is the word? What is the word? Violating. That's so violating to that poor woman. Imagine your husband. You're meant to fucking trust your husband more than anyone in the whole world, and going around showing naked pictures of you. Ew. Gross. No more mention of Mr. Baldoni's or Mr. Heath's previous pornography addiction or Blake Lively's lack of pornography consumption to Blake Lively or other crew members. What, so Justin Baldoni was just going around being like, I used to be addicted to porn and you actually don't consume enough of it? Okay. No more discussions to Blake Lively and or her employees about personal experiences with sex, including as it relates to spouses or others. This is crazy. Like, the fact that there's a meeting happening and all of the things people are agreeing on are basically stop harassing Blake Lively. It's not, none of those are like, Blake Lively must stop doing this. They're all like, Justin Baldoni and Jamie must stop doing this. That's crazy. Also, I missed a sentence there, but it says, Miss Lively was forced to address concerns about the misconduct and began doing so months before filming began. The concerns she raised on several other female cast and crew. The January 4 meeting occurred only after Wayfarer had rebuffed Mrs. Lively's efforts repeatedly. Oh, sorry, her efforts to resolve this. I see. I understand. Okay, anyway, so we no more mention to Blake Lively or her employees of personal times that physical consent was not given in sexual acts as either the abused or the abuser. What? No more descriptions of their own genitalia to Blake Lively. No more jokes or disparaging comments to be made to Blake Lively and or her employees about HR complaints Wayfarer has already received on set or about missing the HR meeting, in quotes. Jesus Christ. No more inquiries by Mr. Baldoni to Blake Lively, trainer, without her knowledge or consent to disclose her weight. No more mention by Mr. Baldoni of him speaking to Blake Lively's dead father. Stop it. Please, fucking stop it. I would kill this man. He's going home and saying like, oh, I chatted to your dad via Ouija board. Oh, please. Stop it. Carrie Smuts. Some people just don't understand propriety. Had a former friend who got fired from his job at Walmart for showing his co-workers sexually explicit memes, and he saw absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Here in Ireland, WhatsApp is really popular, and the amount of people that like send stuff so popular that we have work chats, first of all, and second of all, that people will send really inappropriate shit into a work chat because the lines, I wouldn't think the lines are blurred, but apparently they are, because WhatsApp is like not a formal method of communication. So like, I've seen some really like outrageous shit put into different WhatsApp chats. Jen Thielen, I just popped over to the H3 chat and told them to pop over here. Don't do that. I'm not talking about them. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? No, they're busy. I am very excited to hear that they are. Oh, they're not live already. Oh, I was like, oh, okay. They are going live later though. That's very exciting. Carrie, I know, he asked her trainer for her weight. Vile. Okay, so no more inquiries by Mr. Baldoni. I said that one. No more mention. I said that one, sorry. No more pressing by Mr. Baldoni for Blake Lively to disclose her religious beliefs or unsolicited sharing of his. Oh, that'd kill me. Oh. Also, like, I can imagine he was like, what are your religious beliefs? And if it was me, I'd be like, none. Pass. 0. And then I imagine he'd be like, well, you should believe blah blah. My God. If Blake Lively and or her infant is exposed to COVID again, Blake Lively must be provided with immediate notice as soon as Wayfarer or any other producers become aware of such exposure without her needing to uncover days later herself. That's totally fair. She had just given birth, I think, and she was breastfeeding on set with a very young infant. And obviously, as someone who has just had a baby, I'm going to be on her side for absolutely anything to do with that child. And yeah, if she was exposed to COVID and not given notice and not told, by the way, this person's tested positive for COVID, that's crazy. An intimacy coordinator must be present at all times when Blake Lively is on set in scenes at Mr. Baldoni. That should be industry standard. Oh my God. I thought that was it. There's 2 more pages of this. Jesus. No more personal physical touching of or sexual comments by Mr. Baldoni or Mr. Heath to be tolerated by Blake Lively and or any of her employees, as well as any female cast or crew without their express consent. So basically all the women were being harassed. No more improvising of kissing. Ugh. All intimate touch must be choreographed in advance of Blake Lively and intimacy coordinator. No biting or sucking of lip without Blake Lively's consent. Imagine having to be in this meeting with your husband as well. Like, your husband has to hear that this is all. I totally get why she had him there, but like, I would, if the tables were turned and it was my husband, I would hate to hear that someone had been treating him like that. Ugh. All intimate on-camera touch and conversations must be in character and not spoken from Mr. Baldoni to Blake Lively personally. Jesus Christ. How did she finish this film? This must have been awful. Blake Lively to have a representative on set at all times and with a monitor during scenes involving nudity, sexual activity or violence with Mr. Baldoni. Sarah, I can't trust either of them, shaking my head. Why not? Why can't you trust Blake Lively? Like, this, keep in mind, this part of it is before she got cancelled. Because a big part of this is that the cancellation was orchestrated by him in order to get out ahead of this part. So I didn't personally have an opinion on Blake Lively before her cancellation. Did you? In order to make an educated decision, you must hear the facts or lack thereof presented in a court setting. A filing what you are reading made by someone is not evidence. It is merely a statement to show the court and the opposing party what they think they can show in court. Yeah, but it's not online right now. The only thing that's online is the filing, and I'm just reacting to the filing as a voyeur. I'm not a lawyer. So I'm sure lawyers would be like, much less, oh my God, no way. When they're reading it. Imagine being so unprofessional and harassing that Deadpool needs to be called in as a check. Oh, that's funny. Ooh, that's a good point, G-Clough. I can't get over how much of this shit he must have gotten away with less famous as actors think he could do to her. Is the chat showing up here? I don't think it is. Let me... Okay, sorry. I had put the chat underneath the pictures. Clare the foyer. Okay, where are we? La 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 la. Blake to have a representative on set at all times. Yeah. All actors participating with Blake Lively in intimate scenes involving her being in any state of nudity or simulated nudity must be classified as active working actors, not friends of the directors of producers, and must be pre-approved by Blake Lively. Okay, that one seems pretty specific to the industry. I don't really understand that one as much. I'm going to try and make this a little bigger so you can see it. There we go. No more filming of any Blake Lively nudity without a fully executed SAG-compliant nudity rider in place. Blah, blah, blah. Any footage already shot without this rider may not be used without their written consent. Any scene by Blake Lively or another performer depicting the character of Lily that involves nudity or stimulated sex must be conducted strictly in accordance with the above referenced nudity rider, blah, blah. An intimacy coordinator must be on set for all scenes involving nudity or... Yes, I thought we'd already said that one. No monitors to be viewed or accessible on set or remotely during closed set scenes except by Blake Lively approved essential crew personnel. Fair enough. You don't want 10,000 people looking at you naked if you don't need 10,000 people looking at you naked. No more entering... Sorry, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Am I out of focus now? Okay, no more entering, attempting to enter, interrupting, pressuring or asking Blake Lively to enter her trailer or the makeup trailer by Mr. Heath or Mr. Baldoni while she is nude. So yeah, apparently they kept walking into her trailer and not just when she was nude, but when she was breastfeeding and pumping as well. So to be fair, I've heard his justification for that was, well, she said I could walk in one time when she was pumping, so therefore I could walk in all the time. That's not how it works. And breastfeeding is also different to pumping. Like pumping you can do under your jumper. You could like stick a pump under there and walk around. Obviously for breastfeeding you have to have a boob out, so doesn't follow in my opinion. No more private multi-hour meetings in Blake Lively's trailer with Mr. Baldoni crying. God, that's so cringe for him. With no outside BL appointed representative to monitor. That is so cringe that he had to sit in a HR meeting and agree. Yeah, I'll stop showing up to your trailer and crying. Stop it. No more pressing by Mr. Baldoni to sage any of Blake Lively's employees. Oh, stop it. To sage them. For fuck's sake. I hate sage with the fire of 1,000 suns. My brother used to, and my mum used to as well, they used to sage the house all the time. I despise the smell of sage. I can't. It makes me, to this day, if I smell sage, it actually makes me angry. Like I just have a visceral reaction because I used to fucking hate it, and my brother used to stink the house out with it. It just makes me irrationally angry. Producer Alex Sachs to be given standard rights, inclusion and authority per her job description as represented to Blake Lively when signing on. So obviously previously they hadn't given her that. Okay. Sony must have an active daily role in overseeing physical production, blah blah. Engagement of an experienced producer to supervise the safety of the cast and crew, etc. Engagement of a Blake Lively approved A-list stunt double to perform Lily in scenes with Mr. Baldoni involving rape and or violence. Like I can see after reading this whole thing why you would not want to be in scenes with him doing that. But like, isn't that crazy that you are such a bad man that you can't even act with the actress you're supposed to be acting with because you're being such a psycho. Oh God, how is he not embarrassed? Blake Lively to perform only close-up work or work from a BL pre-approved shot list and scenes. No more adding of sex scenes, oral sex or on-camera climaxing by Blake Lively outside the scope of the script Blake Lively approved when signing on to the project. Oh my God, so was he just like, I've just added in an extra orgasm there? No more asking or pressuring Blake Lively to cross physical picket lines. How did that one not get him cancelled? A-list stunt double. Now that is a job title. How did that not get him cancelled? People were really, really pissed off about TV shows or like any kind of entertainment medium that went ahead during the strikes. People were really, really pissed off about it, even though I think some of the ones that went ahead weren't covered, like they didn't have to stop. Was it podcasts didn't have to stop or something? And then they were like, how dare you? I can't remember. Or was it, no, it was it, what's her face? Kelly Clarkson's TV show. And they were like, how dare you keep going when there's a strike on? And she's like, well, we don't have writers from the striking entity, whose name I should know, but I can't remember. No more retaliatory or abusive behaviour to Blake Lively for raising concerns or requesting safeguards. An in-person meeting before production resumes with all these people to confirm and approve a plan for implementation of the above that will be adhered to for the physical and emotional safety of Blake Lively, her employees and all the cast and crew moving forward. So like that's all to protect Blake Lively. There's nothing agreed there that's like also Justin needs protection from something. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like he was just trying to make bespoke Blake Lively porn for himself by manipulating the work, Gary. I think you're right. I hate to say it, but I think you're right. Okay. I might have to zoom out here a little bit. Okay, so this meeting was an essential step in the process to safely resume production of the film. Okay. At the end of the January 4th meeting, the parties agreed to implement and follow the protections for return to production. That's nuts. Leading up to and in connection with the release of the film, Miss Lively and fellow cast members promoted the film in accordance with the marketing plan created and delivered by the film's distributor Sony, which is summarised in the talking points. Miss Lively and other cast members were under a contractual obligation to engage in media, press, marketing activities and render promotional services in accordance with the marketing plan. The marketing plan directed the cast to focus more on Lily's strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film as a story about domestic violence, and to avoid talking about this film in a way that makes it feel sad or heavy. It's a story of hope. We're getting into it. In the days leading up to the film's release, Mr. Baldoni abruptly pivoted away from the film's marketing plan and the types of publicity activities in which he had previously participated. What the public did not know is that Mr. Baldoni and his team did so in an effort to explain why many of the film's cast and crew had unfollowed Mr. Baldoni on social media and were not appearing with him in public. And at the time that all this was happening, I remember saying that was so weird. And I specifically remember Ethan Klein from H3 saying it was super sus the way everyone had unfollowed Mr. Baldoni, Justin Baldoni. And I was like, you're so right. It so is. It's not. They're all still following her and appearing in pictures with her. It's very strange that they all unfollowed him. And that made me go, there's more to this than we know. To that end, he and his team used domestic violence survivor content to protect his public image as described in further detail below. What the public also did not know was that this was the beginning of a multi-tiered plan that Mr. Baldoni and his team described as social manipulation designed to destroy Miss Lively's reputation. Those are in quotes. If they have actually put those words into text, they are the stupidest fuckers ever. That plan was backed by virtually unlimited resources. Wayfair's co-founder, co-chairman and leading financier is multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz divulged that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. What? Wayfair's co-founder is Steve Sarowitz. So he was taking the side of the other guy, Heath, who divulged at the film's New York premiere that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. What a bollocks. What an absolute bollocks. Steve Sarowitz sucks. Fuck him, because especially if he said and her family, there are 3 children that have absolutely nothing to do with anything, and it doesn't matter if Blake Lively has pissed you off in any way. Her fucking kids have done nothing to you. So you can go and shite. You can go die in a ditch, as far as I'm concerned. How dare you, Steve? With that backing, Mr. Baldoni and his Wayfair associates embarked on a sophisticated press and digital plan in retaliation for Miss Lively exercising her legally protected right to speak up about the misconduct on the set, with the additional objective of intimidating her and anyone else from revealing in public what actually occurred. Now, I remember at the time of the Blake Lively cancellation, that I remember thinking when that journalist released that video, that was like my worst interview ever, and it was Blake Lively being a bitch. Years and years ago though, like 10 years ago, I remember thinking, that's really weird that would come out now. It seems like really coincidental timing that woman has sat on that interview for 10 years and releases it now. And they're saying, they're alleging, I think, that she was part of it. So that's bananas. It was pretty sophisticated. And also, we'll get there, but the PR company that he hired allegedly to do this is allegedly the same crisis communications company or whatever that worked with Johnny Depp, which makes me wonder. I feel like, yeah, it makes me wonder if we should go watch or like read through the UK version of that trial and see what's up. Anyways, so he retained this crisis communication specialist named Melissa Nathan. That might be important, and her company, the Agency Group. She delivered a proposal which included a website, full Reddit, full social account takedowns, full social crisis team on hand for anything, engage with audience in the right way, start threads of theories. This is the way to be fully 100% protected. She proposed the creation of social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts. Oh, helping to change narrative and stay on track. Jesus, so bots, basically. All of this would be most importantly untraceable. Well, it might have been if you hadn't written it down, you big gobshite. As Miss Abel described it, the plan was to engage in social media mitigation and proactive fan posting to counter the negative as well as social manipulation. This plan went well beyond standard crisis PR. What Mrs. Nathan proposed included a practice known as astroturfing, which has been defined as the practice of publishing opinions and comments on the internet and the media, except they appear to come from ordinary members of the public, but actually come from a particular company or particular group. In August, they circulated a scenario planning document which described preparations and strategies should Blake and her team make her grievances public, and is attached as Exhibit D. How did they get these things? To get ahead of these narrative, Miss Nathan's plan proposed strategies to avoid misleading counter-narratives, including pushing Mrs. Nathan's narrative. Miss Lively had less than favourable reputation, proposing to explore planting stories about the weaponization of feminism, and misleadingly blaming Mrs. Lively for production members' job losses. Bastards. See Exhibit D. I won't skip to it because I think this is about to get good. Initially, Mr. Baldoni expressed concerns that the written plan was insufficiently aggressive to protect him. He said he was not in love with the document, not sure I'm feeling the protection that I felt on the call. In response, Mr. Heath attempted to reassure Mr. Baldoni that they had found the right people for his campaign, and said the most important part of this is how quickly they can shut things down and play stories in your favour. Lord above. And they have a text message. How did she get the fucking text messages? Later that day, Miss Sable and Miss Nathan exchanged the following text messages explaining that Mr. Baldoni wants to feel like Miss Lively can be buried. Miss Sable. And Miss Nathan agreed that of course they would just do that, but could not say so in writing. We can't write it down to him. We can't write we will destroy her. What? Did she write that down? Imagine if a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. Ah, Lord above. I'm going to confidentially send you something he's texting me and Jamie on the side just to arm me before the call. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried. That was written down. You moron. Of course, but you know when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do because that could get us in a lot of trouble. Oh my God, Lord above. We can't write it down to him. We can't write we will destroy her. Oh my God. We will go to this. We will do this. We will do this. We will do this. He has to look at it as an information document for us to be armed with. That's all. Imagine a document saying all the things he wants ends up in the wrong hands. Oh my God. You know we can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. Mr. Baldoni set the narrative for the social media campaign, sending Miss Sable a screenshot of a thread on X that accused other female celebrity of bullying women. Mr. Baldoni stated this is what we would need. She said she'd just spoken, focused on Reddit, TikTok, IG, with reassurance that Miss Lively would be destroyed and buried. They directed the team to actively engage in their retaliatory social media manipulation. In the weeks and months that followed, with the direction and approval of these two, the team engaged in a sophisticated, coordinated and well-financed retaliation plan. Did more than just rely on publicists and crisis managers spinning stories. They retained subcontractors, including a Texas-based contractor named Jed Wallace, who weaponized a digital army around the country from New York to Los Angeles to create, seed and promote content that appeared to be authentic on social media and internet chat forums. Oh my God. How did they find this out? Their team would then feed pieces of this manufactured content to unwitting reporters, making the content go viral in order to influence public opinion and thereby cause an organic pylon. To safeguard against the risk of Miss Lively ever revealing the truth about Baldoni, they created, planned and amplified and boosted content designed to eviscerate Miss Lively's credibility. They engaged in the same techniques to bolster Miss Baldoni's credibility and suppress any negative content about him. On the day after the release of the film, the team reported they had started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team efforts to shift the narrative against Mrs. Lively. Hi team, so far extremely limited pickup on Daily Mail or Page 6. We'll continue to keep an eye out and send pieces as needed, but so far it's been steady coverage on pure speculation. We've also started to see a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. Again, we'll continue to send links and screenshots, but want to send an update in the meantime. Lord above. They got this stuff because Miss Nathan left the company to work for a competitor, so the company gave up all her old data when asked. No. So much of this stuff seems hard to prove on both sides. Does it? Because I'm looking at text messages. Like I'm looking at them. I'm looking at screenshots of text messages. And the stuff in the meeting that was agreed seems pretty bad. But I suppose I haven't read his complaint. But then again, I don't think I want to, but... Mrs. Nathan then bragged to Miss Sable that Mr. Baldoni doesn't realise how lucky he is right now, referring to their successful efforts to shut down stories that would have revealed how Mr. Baldoni's behaviour, including sexual connotations on set, had made cast and crew beyond Mrs. Lively uncomfortable. He doesn't realise how lucky he is right now. We need to press him on just how fucking lucky. Okay. The whispering in the ear, the sexual connotations, like Jesus fucking Christ, other members feeling uncomfortable watching it. I mean, there is just so much. Oh, I missed this one. The majority of socials are so pro-Justin and I don't even agree with half of them. Lol. Oh, God. But the Jennifer Abel is the owner. Why did she give up these text messages? That's crazy. Why would you? Because you wouldn't hire... Nobody will hire this company again if they're going to be... Or is this like... Is this fantastic free promotion for this company because it's showing that they really successfully ruined someone's life when they set out to do it? So maybe you would ignore the fact that they provided all the proof in a court document because you'd be like, it's cool, I won't get sued, I won't get caught. I wonder, because otherwise I don't understand. Though maybe you have to give this stuff, do you? If you're sued, you don't have a choice. But this is the complaint. So Discovery, you're right, Jen, Discovery will be wild. But like, how did they have this shit just for the complaint? Even before Discovery. Unless Melissa Nathan herself decided, I feel bad about this, and she's the one who gave all the data. because she left the company. Maybe, because she's the one here. She's the one who said the majority of socials are so poor, just and I don't even agree with them. Lol. Melissa, Jen, this went so well. I'm fucking dying. I have to call you later in a bit how I tell you went. It was genius. So, okay, we've the 4 majors standing down on HR complaint. I think we're fine on that bit. Oh, my tea's gone cold. Yuck. I'm going to switch to Red Bull, which I shouldn't really do at 8 p.m. in the evening, but it's Friday. Let's live it up. Miss Nathan, on August 16th, Miss Nathan circulated a Daily Mail article entitled "Is Blake Lively Set to be Cancelled?" String of hard to watch videos that have surfaced following tone deaf Q&A to promote It Ends With Us could tarnish her golden Hollywood image for good, to which Miss Abel responded, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece," and Miss Nathan replies, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." Wow. Awkward encounters between Lively, who shares 4 children with Ryan Reynolds. Oh, they have 4. And journalists in recent years are being shared across social media. There's a link. And then she says, "Wow, you really outdid yourself. That's why you hired me, right? The best." As her own words reveal, the purpose of this social manipulation plan was twofold: to conceal the pattern of harassment and misconduct by these dudes and retaliate against Blake by battering her image, harming her business, causing her and her family severe emotional harm. Millions of people, including reporters and influencers who saw these planted stories, social media posts and other online content, had no idea they were unwitting consumers of a crisis, PR, astroturfing and digital retaliation campaign created and funded by Mr. Baldoni and Wayfair to hurt Miss Lively. Damn. Jill O'Reilly, I know this was the same company that turned everyone against Amber Heard. She's making me big question mark. I have a big question mark about that now. Turns out next to nobody is immune to propaganda. Sorry, I love flavoured Red Bull. This is not sponsored. But this one looks like it would be disgusting. Oh, it's so nice. Iced vanilla berry. It also sounds like it would be disgusting, but it's lovely. Bye, Jen. See you later. Okay, so yeah, it's a breach of an unconscionable breach of contract and illegal under both state and federal law. That makes sense. Okay, we're going to skip the parties because we get it. So is that just a summation? Is there the rest of it? So factual allegations, right? A. Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath of Wayfair engage in inappropriate and unwelcome behaviour towards Miss Lively and others on the set of It Ends With Us. And then I'm not going to go into all this of this is who they are. Mr. Baldoni ignored well-established industry protocols in filming intimate scenes and exploited the lack of controls on set to behave inappropriately. Damn. Without these protections in place, Mr. Baldoni improvised physical intimacy that had not been rehearsed, choreographed or discussed with Miss Lively, with no intimacy quarter involved. For instance, Mr. Baldoni discreetly bit and sucked on Miss Lively's lower lip during a scene in which he improvised numerous kisses on each take. He insisted on shooting the full scene over and over again, well beyond what would have been required on an ordinary set and without advance notice or consent. Ew. On another occasion, they were filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. He chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively as himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck and said, "It smells so good." None of it was in character or based on dialogue in the script. And nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound being recorded. Mr. Baldoni was caressing I assume this was Ms. Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles. When she later objected, he said, "I'm not even attracted to you." Carrie, you're dead right. Barf, barf, barf. Mr. Baldoni inserted improvised gratuitous sexual content and or scenes involving nudity to the film, including for an underage character, in highly unsettling ways. After she signed on to the movie based on a draft of the script, Mr. Baldoni, without her knowledge or consent, personally added graphic content, including a scene in which she was to orgasm on camera. When she objected, he said had added them because he was making the film through the female gaze. I fucking hate fake feminists. Skeezy men who pretend to be male feminists fuck me off so much. Although he agreed to remove the scenes, he made a last-ditch attempt to keep one in which the couple orgasmed together on their wedding night, which he said was important to him because he and his partner climaxed simultaneously during intercourse. He then intrusively asked Miss Lively whether she and her husband climaxed simultaneously during intercourse, which she found invasive and refused to discuss. That's... Ugh. Yuck. Ryan, I'm also on Blake Lively's side. Definitely. On the day of shooting the scene in which Miss Lively's character gives birth, the two lads suddenly pressured her to simulate full nudity, despite no mention of nudity for the scene in the script, her contract, or in previous creative discussions. Mr. Baldoni insisted to Miss Lively that women give birth naked, and that his wife had ripped her clothes off during labour. He claimed it was not normal for women to remain in their hospital gowns while giving birth. Miss Lively disagreed, but felt forced into a compromise that she would be naked from the chest down. Barf, barf, barf is the only way. Yuck. Gross. When the birth scene was filmed, the set was chaotic, crowded, and utterly lacking in standard industry protections for filming nude scenes, such as a nudity rider, the intimacy coordinator, or turning off the monitors so the scene was not broadcast to everyone and on their personal phones and iPad. Actually, I've been an extra on a set. I forgot that does happen. So even the makeup people have monitors, like what's coming from the camera is being shown on everyone's iPad, and everyone has one. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Oh my god. Mr. Heath and Mr. Baldoni also failed to close the set, and non-essential crew just like passing through while she's mostly nude with her legs spread wide in stirrups and only a small piece of fabric covering her genitalia. Oh, yuck. I wouldn't want to, I wasn't really interested in this film anyway, I'll be totally honest. Sometimes I hear complaints about harassment and think it's not bad enough to be a complaint, and then sometimes I hear ones that make me think someone needs to go skydiving without a parachute. Yeah, way weird. Buska Brewsker, absolutely in the bin with him. I wasn't really interested in seeing this film anyway, to be honest, and I wouldn't have even considered it only for all the talk about it. But this is actually making me not want to see it more. Like, I had briefly considered not going to see it, but watching it, because it's obviously out of the cinema now, before I read this, and now I'm like, no, I don't really want to watch someone be essentially harassed and abused on screen. I'd just be thinking, when I see this scene of her giving birth, the awfulness she went through to film it, I wouldn't be able to. No, I don't think I'm going to watch this now. She was not provided with anything to cover herself with between takes. What? That's crazy. The sets I've been on, again, as an extra, they run out with all these coats for everyone. Crazy. Yeah, Jill O'Reilly. Blake Lively has had 4 kids and didn't get fully nude for any of them. Justin, you did it wrong. I'm so glad Justin was there to mansplain that to her. No, sorry, Blake. Actually, Blake, I think you'll find that women like to be naked giving birth. Really, Justin? I've had 4 kids and I've not been naked once. Actually, Blake, I think you'll find. Miss Lively became even more alarmed when Mr. Baldoni introduced his best friend to play the role of the OBGYN. When ordinarily a small role of his nature be filled by a local actor, she felt that the selection of his friend for that intimate role in which the actor's face and hands were in close proximity to her nearly nude genitalia for a birth scene was invasive and humiliating. Yep. It is a bit weird. That is a bit weird. To add insult to injury, Mr. Heath approved Miss Lively and her assistant on set and started playing a video of a fully nude woman with her legs spread. What? Miss Lively thought she was showing her pornography and stopped him. Mr. Heath explained the video was his wife giving birth. Stop it. Miss Lively was alarmed and asked Mr. Heath if his wife knew he was sharing the video, to which he replied, "She isn't weird about this stuff," as if Miss Lively was weird for not welcoming it. Lord above. Mr. Baldoni added detailed scene. I actually shouldn't move on from that very quickly. That's fucking crazy. So I am a Reddit user to my eternal shame. And I am addicted to that's a joke, by the way. I like Reddit. I am addicted to like reading, do you know those Am I the Asshole and relationship advice things? And so every time I log into Reddit, it's always showing me those. And I went through a period of showing me these kind of like relationship advice, Am I the Asshole, and from baby threads it was like, am I weird to not want my mother-in-law in the room when I'm giving birth? And I was like, what the fuck? There was so many of those threads where it was like, my mother-in-law is insistent that she be in the room when her grandchild is born. And I was like, why on earth would someone not related to you by blood think they could be in the room looking up your vag? What? And so that I've been baffled by that for a while now. But at least in that case, it's someone you are related to. Like, it makes a little bit more sense. Imagine your husband going around showing a video of you giving birth to randomers. Like, I know she's famous, but to you, she's a total stranger. She's a randomer. I hope his wife is pissed reading this. Like, I hope his wife is like, what the fuck? I hope his wife leaves him. Yeah, I said it. Mr. Baldoni added a detailed scene to the film in which the underage version of her character loses her virginity, which is not in the book and the script. Well, in the book and the script, it was left to the imagination rather than have a scene. But he added in considerable detail, as well as a simulated sex scene in which Mr. Baldoni filmed. Yeah, because he was like the producer and director, wasn't he? And included in his initial cut a close-up of young Lily's face accompanied by an audible gasp at the moment of penetration. Ugh. Miss Lively was informed that when the scene was shot, after Mr. Baldoni called cut, he walked over to the actors and said, "I know I'm not supposed to say this, but that was hot. And did you two practice this before?" That is hard to prove, I guess, unless somebody that was there can back it up, because it is hearsay. I'm not 100% sure that they're going to allow that in court, because all the legal knowledge I have. But she's saying does say Miss Lively was informed that he said that, so I imagine that in court they'll go, objection, hearsay. But that is so cringe. It just makes my skin crawl. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath discussed their personal sexual experiences and previous porn addiction and tried to pressure Miss Lively to reveal details about her intimate life. Ugh. I don't really want to go into this too much, because we'll never get through it. We're only on page 21 out of 93. But during a car ride with Miss Lively, he said that he'd been sexually abused by a former girlfriend. At the end of the story, he said it made him re-examine his past. He then said, did I always ask for consent? No. Did I always listen when they said no? No. Yeeks. Miss Lively was unsettled by the suggestion that he engaged in sexual conduct without consent. When Mrs. Lively exited the car, her driver immediately remarked that he did not want Mrs. Lively to be alone with Mr. Baldoni going forward. Dead right. On the first day of production, they described their past sexual relationships to Mrs. Lively. Yikes. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath often spoke of their previous pornography addiction, and Mr. Baldoni would often reference pornography to Mrs. Lively. I feel like I'm in class and I'm struggling to read out loud because I'm like, I don't know, getting tired. I don't know. He revealed in front of other cast and crew that Miss Lively had never seen porn. I mean, that's not true. But it's her right to lie about that. You know what I'm saying? It's her right to lie and say she's never watched porn. Mr. Baldoni engaged in other behaviours that were shocking and emotionally distressing. For example, he claimed he could speak to the dead, and on several occasions told her he had spoken to her dead father. Now, he'd be lucky. He'd be like lucky to not get punched from me for that. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath were also constantly hugging and touching cast and crew. When Miss Lively or others avoided this touching, they would retaliate by becoming irritated, cold and uncollaborative. Typical. Mr. Baldoni objectified Mr. Lively and other women by commenting on or criticising their bodies as sex objects. He called them sexy. On one occasion, he told a female cast member that her pants looked sexy. When she rebuffed his comment, rather than apologising, he said, I can say that because my wife is here today. Cool. On another day, Miss Lively wore a low-cut dress to facilitate breastfeeding, but had it covered up with a coat. When the jacket briefly popped open to reveal her dress, he commented about how much he liked her outfit, which flustered her. Later that day, he pressured her to remove her coat in front of the crew. He wanted to see her onesie because it was zip low to reveal her bra. Consistent with past practice, he said, I think you look sexy, in a tone that made her feel ogled and exposed. She said, that's not what I'm going for. He replied, I'm sorry, hot. Jesus. She said, not that either. He said, sarcastically, I guess I missed the HR meeting and walk away. Lord above. Another cast member lodged a sexual harassment complaint about his gross and unwanted comments. Well, that's fairly easy to find, which is good. He messaged criticisms of her age and weight. On the second day of filming, for example, he made the rest of the cast and crew wait for hours while he cried in Mrs. Lively's dressing room, claiming social media commenters were saying she looked old and unattractive based on paparazzi photos from the set. He's crying, saying, people online are saying you look old and ugly. Stop, I'm absolutely dead. Miss Lively tried to reassure him that she should look authentic. Imagine, she's like, Justin, please cheer up. It's fine that they think that I'm ugly and old. Also, Blake Lively is one of the best looking women in the freaking world as well. Like, rat face Justin Baldoni can bite me. Imagine crying about. I thought he was crying about something like about him. He's crying. People think you're ugly. So she tried to have a meeting, and he then, rather than ordinary meeting time and place, he arrived unannounced at her hair and makeup trailer while she was topless and having body makeup removed. He insisted that if she did not allow him into her trailer to speak to him at that moment, that there would be no meeting. She reluctantly agreed, but asked that he keep his back turned, and a few minutes in, she noticed he was staring directly at her while she was topless. When she called him out, he said it was a habit of wanting to look at a person while he spoke to them. That was just the second day of filming. I do not know how the fuck they finished this. Throughout filming, they invaded Miss Lively's privacy by entering her makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed, including when she was breastfeeding. She often had to work while breastfeeding, which she felt comfortable doing as long as she was given time and space to cover herself. She did this frequently because she was not given breaks to feed her baby. That's crazy, but she did not expect or consent to anyone entering her private space while topless, exposed and vulnerable with her newborn or during body makeup application or removal. Totally fucking fair enough. God. This is why you need maternity leave and you need to not have to go back to work with a newborn. It's just because you have to be, like, they need to eat whenever they fucking want to eat. And, like, I really feel like I didn't get that till I had a baby. I was like, it's not, you can't plan it. Especially if you're exclusively breastfeeding, you're doing it on demand. You're at that baby's beck and call. A few weeks before filming began, and less than 4 months after she'd given birth to her fourth child, she was humiliated to learn that he had called her fitness trainer and implied he wanted her to lose weight in 2 weeks. That makes me so fucking mad. That actually makes me so fucking mad. I'm so mad. I went to the postpartum physio at about 8 weeks postpartum, and the postpartum physio was like, you would be cleared to go back to basically you would be cleared to go back to fitness exercise in any other scenario, but because you've had a baby, I cannot say that you can go back till 12 weeks. So she was basically saying, like, all looks well, but you still can't run till 12 weeks. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then so I started getting back into my fitness journey at 12 weeks, and I probably started at 10, to be honest with you, because you can tell me nothing. But I was proper kicked in about 12, and I've been working out now for like coming up on 3 months, and I am nowhere near what I was pre-pregnancy. And I'm talking like just before Christmas there, I was doing 2 boot camps a week, 2 workouts a week, 2 hitting the treadmill twice a week. So I would do a run, at least 1 run on the treadmill a week, and then at least 1 walk out and about. So I was doing like a 3k walk at least once a week out and about, and then also some walking on the treadmill, and to make sure that I was also trying to hit my step goal every single day. And I still haven't lost any weight. Like, I'm back now working out again, doing 2 boot camps, 2 workouts a week. Now I haven't actually done my 2 workouts this week yet. But my workouts are targeted for my glutes, because I was like, after I had a baby, I was like, what the fuck happened to my arse? I have no glutes, I can't run, I have no power off the line. What's the story? And the woman who does the postpartum boot camp classes was like, yeah, that's like a known thing. You're like, your glutes go to shite. And I was like, oh, great. So basically what I'm trying to get at here is that it's way fucking harder to get back into shape after having a baby than I ever thought it would be. Like, normally, pre-baby, if I was hitting the exercise as hard as I'm hitting it now, I would see results in 2 weeks. I still haven't really seen results in 3 months. Like, I've seen visual results, like I feel fitter. What is it? My aerobic fitness feels better. Like, I can breathe. You know what I mean? I can run for longer. I can do that. My anaerobic fitness is much better. And I feel like I can see improvements, but the actual scales haven't changed at all. So it's so much harder. And I only say all that to say this would have made me so fucking mad. So mad if at 4 months postpartum, because hello, you're only back even allowed to run for 4 fucking weeks, that someone had been like, yeah, I want her to lose weight in 2 weeks, I would have lost it. God, hate him so much. Hello, Dan. Welcome. You've come in in a funny time. I'm talking about how much I hate Justin Baldoni. Mr. Baldoni told the trainer he had asked because he was concerned about having to pick her up for a scene, but there was no such scene. I hate him so much. I fucking hate him so much. When Miss Lively caught strep throat, he offered to connect her with an expert. When she filled out the form, she saw the expert was actually a weight loss specialist. I hate Justin Baldoni so much. They failed to implement COVID protocols. Miss Lively and others lodged grievances regarding their conduct, and the Wayfarer declines to investigate. Going to skip to the next one. Parties negotiate a contract rider regarding their conduct on the set of It Ends With Us. I'm going to skip to the next one because we've already read that whole thing. And it's just written out. Production concluded and Miss Lively and other cast and crew promoted the film according to the marketing plan. I want to talk about this one. So Blake Lively basically got cancelled because she said, grab your friends and grab your florals and come and see this film. And people were like, it's actually really out of touch that you promoted this like it was a rom-com. But her defense is that she was contractually obliged to do that. And actually, people have found that on the Sony page itself. You okay? Can you get my stapler? Sure. I have, yeah, okay, you can. What do you?
Staple-related emergency.
Staple-related emergency, okay. They say hi, Alex. Hello. Okay. So, yeah, so they found out that on the Sony page that it was actually the whole marketing thing was grab your friends and grab your florals. It's actually really hard to say. And it had been started by one of the influencers they invited to the opening had said that, and then they had just jumped on it. And then when Blake repeated it, she got cancelled. The artist, I see why he felt the need to get ahead of Blake and sabotage her image. They have so much on him. Yep. Jill O'Reilly, who needs a stapler at this hour? I agree. What kind of staple related emergency could you have at 8:20 when you're minding the baby? What are you doing? I'll come down and they'll be like all the teddies will be stapled together or something. I don't know. Something weird is going on. Okay. In connection with the film's public release, she promoted the film in accordance with the marketing plan. Attached here is Exhibit C. Oh my God, she's got the receipts. The marketing plan expressly required all cast and crew engaged in professional activities to focus more on the strength and resilience as opposed to describing the film about a story about domestic violence. And then people cancelled her for that. And they were like, how dare she not say, if you have been affected, please call. He publicly embraced the marketing plan. In early May, he appeared at a floral-themed trailer launch event, which included him personally making flower bouquets for influencers, photo opportunity, and film-branded latte art. Like, the criticism that the marketing plan for this film was off base and tone deaf is fair. It's just not fair to solely put that on her, but it absolutely was fucking tone deaf. But apparently Colleen Hoover marketed the book with like nail varnish and a colouring book, so it's always been a little bit off. Dan, so she was contractually obliged to paint it as something it wasn't. Yeah, she was contractually obliged, is what she's saying, is she was contractually obliged to focus on the strength of the character and promote the film in a much lighter way. She wasn't allowed to promote it as a film that related to domestic violence. It was supposed to be a story of hope. You know what I'm saying? As late as July, Mr. Baldoni appeared at a pop-up of Lily Bloom's flower shop, where he held a long stem rose microphone and playfully gave tours of the shop to influencers. In a TikTok interview posted that day, he walked through the pop-up and stated he'd be giving tours all day until August. It ends with us exclusively in theatres. There's all the flowers. Love the rose microphone. Although I would have gone with a bigger rose. But I love the idea. That's really, really smart. This is gorgeous, this screenshot. It's a bananas marketing campaign, but it is beautiful. In advance of the release of the film, nearly all cast members chose to appear separately in public from Mr. Baldoni, given his on-set behaviour. He became concerned that the public would discover that something is much bigger under the surface. At that point, he pivoted away from the marketing plan to explain his absence from the rest of the cast and shifted his focus away from a message of female triumph to instead capitalise on female trauma. After the premiere, he changed his Instagram profile, cancelled lighthearted social media posts and instructed his team to look for survivor reactions and support, all in an effort to shift his own public narrative to focus solely on survivors and domestic violence organisations, which she had been told not to do. Miss Abel cautioned Mr. Baldoni that the shift might be too drastic too soon. Still, he insisted on a TikTok strategy and that his promotional activities for the film should seek to amplify what he described as survivor content. I'd like you guys to start posting me only talking about domestic violence and clips and why this movie is so important. They followed his instructions. Blah, 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 blah. By repositioning the marketing of the film, he hoped to create the false impression that he'd chosen not to appear alongside other cast members. It was so weird, though, that they had unfollowed him. It told a lot. It was sussy as fuck. He directed his team to share in his public Instagram feed private messages he had received from survivors. Gross. That is so gross. I think you should let all people DM me so you can see people's reactions and I can be reposting everything. Gross. He went so far as proposing to share a video of a woman's birth moment. Oh, he should. Oh. But his team talked him out of it, warning it might be perceived as weird and too intimate. If only he had... Now, not that I want him to do that, because actually it's a real woman in that. That would have been horrendous. But if he had done that, he would have outed himself so quickly. He formulated a retaliatory plan. He knew the details of the concerns, blah, blah. They needed a plan. He texted his publicist that Miss Lively's husband had blocked him on social media, stating we should have a plan for if she does the same when the movie comes out. Yikes. A month after Mr. Baldoni's first promotional event, Miss Lively and the others in the cast did their first publicity obligation without him. They did not publicly discuss the misconduct, nor did they even suggest that they intended to discuss their concerns publicly. Yet on June 20, Miss Abel texted Heath her concerns. We can't have fans starting to guess why JB is left out of this stuff. They strategized with the publicist about various ways in which they might cover up or explain his own onset misconduct. On June 24, he proposed an offensive move showing his neurodivergence and some of the attributes that come with it, blah, blah. Hey guys, one thing I think I want to do is the Dr. Amen show. Matt, I know your feelings about it, but practice saved my friend Miranda's life a few months ago. With everything going on, I want to have an offensive move showing my neurodivergence and some of the attributes that come with it so I can start talking about it. Most anything that I've been accused of is social awkwardness and impulsive speech. And I think me sitting down with him and just looking at my brain and talking about some of these things would be helpful for me. So he's trying to be like, I am neurodivergent. I just don't know that I'm being inappropriate. Is that his excuse? Jill O'Reilly, I'm surprised he hasn't tried saying that he was just method acting and creating a toxic atmosphere was part of that. Jelly 46, thank you for following. I can't believe they're still together after all that shit. Do you mean Blake and Ryan or someone else? Or the guy with the wife where he's showing her a video of her giving birth the whole time? Seems to me that Ryan was pretty good with this. Like, he was her representative in that meeting, and like, I think he was doing what he could to support her through it. On July 24th, she emailed requesting Miss Abel emailed Mr. Heath and others requesting the legal letter that was sent to Miss Lively stating, per our conversation, we will go through point by point and draft context. We can flag what we're missing that would be helpful to arm us in case we need to refute any of the claims. He sent her an article about somebody's inappropriate behaviour on set, including his alleged kissing of cast and crew described by unnamed sources. He said, this is the shit I'm sure they want to do, unnamed sources. Gotcha. So he was trying to get in front of them. Wayfair engages Melissa, Nathan and Tag on behalf of Mr. Baldoni to launch a retaliation campaign against Miss Lively. It's actually crazy that Wayfarer, the fucking company that was funding the film, hired that PR firm to like go after one of the actors in favor of the other actor. That's fucking bananas. Would you not think that like Mr. Baldoni should be hiring that firm under his own name or like a fake name? Like, this is ridiculous. They're so thick. I just saw an on-screen rant that Baldoni's lawyers say Nice Pool from Deadpool and Wolverine was Reynolds making fun of him. I did read that somewhere, and I think it's so funny if that's true. If that's true, it's super, super funny. And what's funny is that Nice Pool from Deadpool was the only Deadpool, spoiler alert, that didn't regenerate. And he made a comment about how hot... What was her name? What was the female Deadpool's name? About how hot she was, and he said like, oh, and she's just had a baby. And then Ryan was like, I don't think you're supposed to say that. Why is that song in my head? Is that from an ad or something? Okay. Tag markets itself as a team of crisis specialists and communications experts that redefines the rules of reputation management. It's more than just creating a powerful narrative. It's knowing how to navigate that narrative towards continued success and a lasting legacy. Well, I don't think it's going to be very lasting now that it's all out in the open and that you all have it in text messages, you fucking morons. And they only started... June 20th, 2024, Miss Nathan launched Tag. So it's only 6 months old, the company, and I don't know if it's going to survive this one. Okay, I don't care about its fucking mission statement. Ooh. As set forth above, Mr. Baldoni sent Miss Abel a screenshot of a thread on X regarding another female public figure's alleged history of bullying many women, and Mr. Baldoni stated this is what we would need. So that makes sense. That's why they went digging out on where she'd been a bitch in interviews like 10 years ago. It's really funny what we... Lady Pool, thank you, Jill Riley. It's really funny what we... the way that we treat women in the public eye is like years ago when those clips of Blake Lively were from, that was a time in which celebrities weren't really allowed to bite back when they were doing press junkets and stuff. And then there was a period of time more recently where people were like, oh, go to the actress, like, yes. And there was like compilations of actresses biting back, and it was all popular. It was like, yeah, you stand up for yourself. They're asking you weird questions, this, that and the other. But then in the context of this, everyone was like, now to be fair, her comment was rude, and everyone was like, what a bitch. It was just really weird. It's just like, it's just funny. It was like some of it's okay and some of it's not okay, and it was from a time where you weren't allowed to bite back at rude or invasive questions, but it was released in a time where it's more acceptable to do so. I don't know. But the problem was, I think, that they'd like the bitchy comment was totally out of context. Like, it was just clip chimped. So there's every chance that like that interview had not gone well, or a previous interview had not gone well, or something was happening that had pissed her off, and so she said something rude. But then you cut it out and make it. And then also, I thought it was kind of unfair of the journalist as well. So the clip that went viral was like, the journalist put up on YouTube and was like, the Blake Lively interview that made me want to stop being a journalist. And the interviewer said something about a belly. Was it? And then Blake Lively said something about the interviewer's belly. And then the interviewer, when she was tweeting it, was like, and I had just like had a miscarriage or something. I can't remember the details. We must look it up. Yeah, I'm going to have to look it up. But it was just, the whole thing was a bit weird. Anyways, oh my God, pricing quotes ranging from 75,000 to 175,000. Well, like, I knew it was going to be expensive, but that's insanely expensive. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, 175k for 3 to 4 months. I was like, is that per month? Christ. We have seen the most innocuous issues turn giant due to socials. BL does have some of the TS fan base, so we will be taking it extremely seriously. TS. What's the TS fan base? Taylor Swift? We also understand the audience is not solely JB fan base. All of this will be most importantly untraceable, he says in a fucking text message. Or she says. God. How did she get these messages though? Because I still don't understand how she got them. Bananas. Absolutely bananas. The Hollywood Reporter announced the retention of them. The news comes days after sleuths flooded TikTok with speculation about alleged rift between Baldoni and his cast and crew, including Blake Lively as well as Hoover. Chatter spiked when fans noticed Baldoni's absence from joint press events and the lack of group photos. Some also pointed out neither Lively nor Hoover nor the rest of the cast followed Baldoni on Instagram. I did not know. So it was right out in the open. And it still worked. That's crazy. Oh, let's see what this text message says. Thanks for the call. Coincidentally, I'm out to dinner with a friend at 12 Procedures Rights for People magazine. Fox News in touch US Weekly, and she's fully briefed of the situation and is armed and ready to take the story of Blake weaponizing feminism to any of her outlets the minute we give her the green light. She hates Blake, has heard this story before, and will do anything for us, just FYI. I wonder, can we find who that is? I wonder if I went weaponizing. I wonder if I went onto Google and I went, let's see. Okay. Okay. Why Taylor Swift is mentioned in Blake Lively's complaint. Justin Baldoni's lawyer vows to show Blake Lively's. Why did so many people jump to create? Oh, so these are too recent. They need to be put in news. In defense of the privileged girl boss. That's not a particularly supportive fucking headline, is it? Why did so many people jump to criticize Blake Lively? The answer isn't complicated. Yeah, because she's a woman. I'm ashamed of what I said about Blake Lively. Her allegations should shock us all. Okay, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking specifically for Justin Baldoni's crisis team names Taylor Swift and her weaponization of feminism. So they are doing that. They're what? Okay. What was it said there? Oh no, have I lost my place? No, I haven't. Weaponizing feminism. So In Touch US Weekly. When would it have been? Like August 2024, maybe? I used to know how to search between dates. Okay. We're just going back to the thing. Can't find it now, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to know. Wouldn't it? Who was that writer? Tag circulated a document to Mr. Baldoni and others entitled Scenario Planning. It ends with us. That's so fucking hilarious that they were putting it in writing. They're so dumb. Included suggesting misleading messaging that production members lost their jobs due to Miss Lively takeover. I remember, and insisted upon involvement. I remember this. I remember there was a narrative that Blake Lively wanted her own cut of the film and her own edit, so had hired her own editors or something. I remember that. Miss Lively involved her husband to create an imbalance of power between her and Mr. Baldoni. I remember hearing that Ryan was really involved and that Ryan rewrote a scene or something. Miss Lively has a less than favourable reputation in the industry, and she had a clear likely motive to bully her way into buying the rights for It Starts With Us, the sequel to the film currently owned by Wayfarer. If I was her, I would absolutely refuse to be in the sequel. In fact, I would have quit this film, to be honest. Can you quit films, or do you have to finish them once you sign on? Because otherwise, like, I'd be like, here, fuck this. Like, she is famous and rich, so it's not like she needs the money, but she must have been locked in with a contract. Or maybe she's just one of those people who wants to finish things that she started. I think if I had the money to walk away, I would just walk away. Saladin, you can quit at a cost. Yeah, they probably have you financially over a barrel if you try to leave. Jill O'Reilly, I'm honestly surprised she put up with so much on this movie. I mean, together with Ryan, they're worth nearly half. But you see, that's what I was thinking. But she must have been contractually locked in, or maybe just really passionate about the project and wanted to finish it. But I just don't think I would be passionate enough about anything to stick through this treatment. But then again, when he went after her this hard, when she finished the film, like, he would have done it to her anyway. If she'd left the film, he probably would have done even worse. Okay, so we've seen all these text messages in the intro. I'm having reckless thoughts of wanting to plan to pieces this week of how horrible Blake is to work with. Just get ahead of it. She's putting us through hell. As I am already off the record, you're sending a text message, you dope. Spoke to the editor of Daily Mail because she's my friend. People need to be more outraged about this. Like, people need to be outraged that journalists can be bought like this. This upsets me. As someone with a journalism degree, this really upsets me. G-Clough, they have terms you'd have to pay out lots per contract or didn't want to leave the other crew there with him. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, all her employees and all the other crew and everything. Yeah, it's not just about you. Okay, this is all kind of talking about this stuff. On August 19, 2024, Miss Nathan sent Miss Abel 2 links to articles, one from Hollywood Reporter entitled "Did Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni have a rift over It Ends With Us? Sleuthing TikTokers Think So," and one from the Daily Mail entitled "Disturbing Truths Behind Why Blake Lively and Her It Ends With Us Stars Are Feuding with Justin Baldoni." The Daily Mail article reports on allegations that Justin Baldoni was chauvinistic and borderline abusive on the set of It Ends With Us, and discusses this and other claims with respect to the film in detail. Miss Abel stated to Miss Nathan, "I can tell you've done a lot of work here. Nothing about being unsafe, fat comments, sexual." She concluded, "Thank fucking God." Wait, what? What? So she didn't manage to buy the media, the owner of, or the editor of the Daily Mail then, because they went ahead and published it anyway. But they're happy about it because it could have been worse? In August, she stated the situation moved from just monitoring and scenario planning to Miss Nathan and me having to have an off-the-record conversation with outlets such as the Today Show. Damn. Miss Nathan indicated to Miss Abel she was on the phone with her sister, a journalist at the New York Post and contributor Page 6. Oof. And remarked that Mr. Baldoni's religion should be taken out from media coverage. And mostly the misogynistic. What is his religion? Because it's coming up a few times. Dan, your kid may go for journalism when they hit college. Very good. Well, G-Clough says in America we know our journalists are all bought off. So send them to Europe to be a journalist. Him or her. Later the same day, Mrs. Nathan texted Miss Abel a link of an article on Page 6 entitled "Truth Behind It Ends With Us Feud Rumours. Justin Baldoni made Blake Lively uncomfortable," sources say, stating, "I knew she would keep uncomfortable." On August 9, they discussed suppressing 2 stories that she was uncomfortable on set. Did we survive? We survived. All press is so overwhelming. We've confused people so much mixed messaging. Yeah, that's fair. It's actually really funny if you think about it. Miss Nathan further texted Miss Abel that the worst is over and Mr. Baldoni likely would not be cancelled. "I do think the next few months will be a tiny bit bumpy, but not cancelled." The following day, she stated the narrative online is so freaking good and fans are still sticking for Justin, and there literally was no pickup of these 2 articles. "I see this as a total success, as does Justin." God damn. Narrative is crazy good. Fuck. She continued, "I mean, that was just a lot of work just talking everyone off the fucking ledge for those 2 pieces. He doesn't realise how lucky he is right now. We need to press him on just how lucky. Lord above." Baldoni is a member of the Baha'i faith. Oh. I don't even know what that is either. Ooh. The following day, Miss Abel confirmed to Mr. Baldoni that there had been very little pickup, and the fans believe the issue of the feud is because she took control of the movie. That is, I heard that one. We are crushing it on Reddit. Oh, cringe. You guys will love this. Basically saying that Blake needs to divorce Ryan because he's made her into a meme. He's ruining her biggest movie of the year, forcing her to ostracize Justin, rewriting the script. Oh my God. Ryan gets dragged into it. On August 10, 2004, Miss Nathan stated to Miss Abel that socials are really ramping up. She continues, actually sad because it just shows you have people really wanting to hate on women. That's why I think Melissa Nathan gave all this stuff to them. I think she was like, I have been a part of the problem and I'm going to be part of the solution. I genuinely think so. The same day, a member of the tag team advised of a shift on social due largely to Jed and his team's efforts to shift the narrative towards shining a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. Extremely limited pickup on Daily Mail at page 6. We'll continue to keep an eye out. Blah, blah. We've also started to see a shift on social. Yeah, we saw that message already, actually. Ooh. Same period of time, they were heavily monitoring, had friendlies updating them and sought to address unflattering commentary regarding Mr. Baldoni. For example, in August, she circulated a screenshot of a post by a woman stating, Justin, the creator of a show called My Last Days, exploits the struggles of individuals facing terminal illness for his own gain. He found my friend who was battling a serious illness and followed her life closely. Despite her grace in not speaking ill of him, I sensed from the start that something was deeply wrong. Justin weaponizes therapeutic language, presenting himself as thoughtful and supportive, yet his actions reveal a very different reality. He portrays himself as an ally to women and the vulnerable, but it's all a facade. He manipulates the vernacular of care to mask his true intentions. In reality, none of the proceeds from the show benefit the individuals he profiled. He even had the audacity to depict her hometown, a vibrant and affluent community, as a small impoverished town. His portrayal was not just inaccurate but insulting. Once the show aired, Justin took his profits and vanished, leaving nothing but a sense of exploitation in his wake. His behaviour was not just tacky and gross, it was a betrayal of the very people he claimed to uplift. And in response to the article, she said, I'm assuming this is not true. Either way, we've flagged it to Jed and his team for more serious action on the social side. Lord. Jed is the guy with the team of bots. Let's chat to Jed on this. On any occasion, any member of the Wayfarer or the social manipulation team could text the link to a positive story about Mr. Baldoni or a negative story about Miss Lively and ask that someone boost the story to the public. On August 18th, Mr. Baldoni circulated a TikTok in which the poster criticised Miss Lively for not speaking about domestic violence in press interviews. See, that's stupid. He shouldn't have been personally sharing anything, because that just makes it so fucking obvious. He seems like a moron. Like, if you're gonna be evil, do it right. Don't fucking have a paper trail, you dipshit. Media's inquiring about HR complaints and they didn't get any information. Hi guys, read the TMZ, read the TMZ thing, read the HR complaints. Our understanding is that two of them were from Blake and someone else. RE, the sexy comment is the additional one from blank. RE, the thing with Jamie and her apartment in NYC. Just want to clarify, she really loves saying RE. I'm scanning it to see, because I'm not reading every fucking word in this. We already saw the one about Jen, this went so well, I'm fucking dying. We already read that. The article addressed, this article by Sarah Nathan titled Blake Lively approved final cut of It Ends With Us amid feud with co-star director Justin Baldoni. The article addressed, among other topics, Miss Lively's role in approving the final cut. The film emphasised how she contributed to almost every aspect of the film, that her husband wrote one of the most important scenes and that she was begged to remove one of her song choices, despite Mr. Baldoni's ownership of the rights to the book via his production company. I remember hearing this and I remember thinking, that's fucking weird. And I remember that even on TikTok, it was like, for some reason, Colleen Hoover also started to get cancelled. So people were like, yeah, not only is Blake Lively a bitch, but Colleen Hoover actually hates women. And I was like, Colleen Hoover has like 40 books. Like, why are people only saying now that she, like, if she hated women, would it not have been obvious? One of her other books, like, do you know what I mean? She's a very famous author. This book was very popular. Why did it take till the film version for you to realise? You know what I mean? I remember thinking that was so weird. And the funny thing is, I was totally skeptical about the Blake Lively stuff. I was like, I'm not going to believe everything I hear now. Like, I think he might have had something, he might have been a bit weird. I actually think, you know, there's more to it, blah, blah. But yet I was like, fuck Colleen Hoover. No one is immune. No one is immune to propaganda. The language contained in the article is almost a verbatim copy of the language exchanged in these texts. Tag publicly shared this article on one or more social media platforms. Like, stop it. Don't tell me they were sharing it on their actual, like, socials. Like, come off it. Talk about amateur hour. Like, just use the bots, you idiots. You're supposed to be publicly, like, not engaging with this stuff. God damn it. Imagine, like, hiring a crisis PR and they share it on their Facebook. Ugh. So we'd already read that bit. Following the launch of Miss Lively's hair care line. Oh my god, that launched in August. I remember people on TikTok reviewing it and talking such shit about it. The launch of her care line, Blake Brown, which she spent 7 years building, the Instagram account of the brand was flooded by harassing and derogatory comments. Oh, that is so awful. Including many posted by user accounts that had no followers and no prior posts. Jed's bots, which did not relate to the brand's products. To take an example, one comment posted on the Blake Brown account, someone with 0 posts, 0 followers and 0 following, said, how about you stop paying the media to trash and smear Justin? That would be a good start, you awful human being. Wow. Another one said, we want Justin's cut of the movie. He actually cares about TV. This must have been hard. Dan, bye, see you later. This must have been hard. I think if the whole internet was piling on you and you knew, even if it was justified, it'd be tough. But if you knew it wasn't justified, this would be hard. You can totally see how people would do regrettable things, like how this would send someone over the edge. It'd be so upsetting. That's crazy. Okay, so Mr. Baldoni in August texted Miss Nathan and Miss Abel stating that suggesting flipping the narrative arising from unnamed sources made false claims about Mr. Reynolds' involvement and suggested a way to manipulate those rumours to make Mr. Reynolds appear to be anti-feminist. 2. Something about Ryan claiming the female hired was feminist writer didn't know how to tackle female women, etc., using their own words against them. Justin Baldoni, for someone who is a director, producer, writer, whatever, he can't fucking write to save his life. Can't put a sentence together. Dumbass. Quickly, my partner Steve asked about flipping the narrative from this leak this AM about Ryan saying script was a disaster and he saved the movie. I remember that. And people had said that to me, been like, yeah, well, apparently she like was totally trying to take it over. I was like, that just doesn't seem normal. Like, it doesn't seem right that she would have a different cut of the film. It just doesn't make sense to me. Miss Lively expressly instructed her publicist not to engage with press inquiries, including ones regarding the on-set behaviour of the dudes. Experiencing the very sudden tidal wave of the increasingly negative public attention around her, she began to suspect that the extraordinarily rapid shift in public sentiment that began immediately after the rest of the cast and crew attended the world premiere was likely orchestrated by the men about whom she had raised HR complaints. Mr. Baldoni retaliated because HR complaints regarding his behaviour threatened his feminist brand. I hate Justin Baldoni so fucking much right now. And then it's about his TED Talk. 8 million views. Which, okay, I don't really care about that. Oh, he also has a Man Enough podcast. Men supporting women in leadership. Lol. Over the past 7 years, and as relevant to this complaint, he's made the following statements. Let's just shut up and finally listen to the women in our lives. And then, yeah, more feminist quotes. God, there's a lot of them. Contrary to this image, as set forth in detail above, he spent the last several months and significant resources on his goal of wanting to bury and destroy Miss Lively for raising concerns about him and the CEO's harassing behaviour. Miss Lively, her family and her business have suffered and have been substantially harmed by the Wayfarer party's conduct. I don't know how she could, how much she could get out of this, but like, if they rule in her favour, can't she sue for like damage to reputation, potential like loss of future earnings because people may not hire her as an actress, and also he fucked up the launch of her hair care brand, which could have potentially been massive income for her. Like, this could be huge, couldn't it? Oof. Net volume of positive and negative mentions of Blake Lively. Oof. Ooh, August was a bad month for her. My God. Oh, the start of August was good, and then it just, look, it went from up here to down here. Oh, you can't see my mouse, can you? You can't see it when it's on the chart, but look, it went from green there in August to red immediately. Wow. She can only really make as much as Baldoni's production company have, which doesn't seem like that much. Yeah, that's a good point. As of that date, as noted above, TAG itself noticed a shift to their efforts as early as August 10th, and as of that date, the sentiment towards Miss Lively turned toxic, and you can see it on the chart, with a sudden increase in negative comments, including hypersexual content, and calls for Miss Lively to go fuck herself. It's not funny, but sorry, it's kind of funny to see that written down like that. Oh, look, and then they have sources here. Look. One of them is, Blake Lively, you were such a bitch. What a horrible, rude bitch you are. I can't believe someone fucked you, made a kid with you, married you, and now has to be stuck with your bitch ass. Oh my God, LMAO, I would run. That is outrageous. Oh, there's another one. Liz, tag the bitch at Blake Lively equals pedo. Wow. Oof. Nearly decade-old interviews of Miss Lively were surfaced commenting on her tone, posture, dictation and language. She was criticised for how she was marketing the film, called a bully, mean girl and controlling. Articles which they credit themselves with influencing, dissected Miss Lively and contemplated her cancellation. They fed it to these places. The social manipulation campaign, yeah. The online narrative continues to trend more negatively when compared with other weeks and months prior to the social manipulation campaign. God, we are so malleable, aren't we? We just go with what everyone thinks. We suck. G-Clough, although kind of impressive that you can fuck up someone this famous for a mere 175k. What would a normal person's ruin cost? $50 on a pizza? Probably. If you got the right people to pick it up, yeah, you could ruin someone pretty easily. Like, yeah. There's a infamous story about how Keemstar accused an old streamer of being a pedo because he confused him with somebody else, and he ruined that man's life. So you get enough traction on one fucking video and you could ruin someone's life, a normal person's life. Okay. Media blitz was a result of an intentionally seeded, cultivated and financed campaign against her. The effect on her professional life were immediate and substantial. She did not believe she could proceed with public appearances or events without being forced to openly discuss what happened on set. She had to cancel a critical target corporate event for her hair care company. She backed out of her scheduled role to host the premiere episode of the 50th anniversary season of Saturday Night Live in September. I see why she did that. It would have been a really bad time for her to host Saturday Night Live, but that's really sad, that she had been scheduled to do that and had to pull out. It's damaged her companies. Her Blake Brown was that date of launch was set more than a year prior for the release of the film. Before the social manipulation campaign started, Miss Lively was informed Blake Brown was Target's largest hair care launch on record. But the sudden and unexpected negative media campaign depressed retail sales of Blake Brown products by 56 to 78%. This dramatic drop was completely at odds with the high satisfaction scores that Blake Brown products received in the significant consumer testing performed just before launch or its initial success after launch. Not gonna lie, this is kind of making me want to try her hair care stuff. Around the same time, the social media accounts for her brands, including Betty Buzz and Betty Booze, were flooded by hateful comments. I remember this, and I remember people being like, what the fuck are they doing promoting alcohol with this film? And it's like, Betty Buzz is non-alcoholic. Betty Booze, I think, is alcoholic, but Betty Buzz isn't. And it was Betty Buzz that they did a collaboration post on Instagram with the film. And people were really outraged by it. And I remember again being like, what? That seems a bit weird. The astroturfing campaign forced each of Mrs. Lively's businesses to go dark on social media in August, and Miss Lively did the same for nearly 2 months. During this time, was unable to market or promote any of her businesses, all of which rely on her support. Oh my God. Oh, if he had money, she could take it all from him. She's going to end up changing the name of Wayfarer when she wins in the lawsuit. You get buzzed off Betty Booze, not Betty Buzz, Buzzo. Oh my God. The emotional impact of Miss Lively has been extreme, not only affecting her but her family, her husband and 4 children. There are days where she has struggled to get out of bed and she frequently chooses not to venture outside in public. This is what I'm talking about. This, I would not be able to handle this. When she has fought to maintain her life and personal interests, behind closed doors she suffered from grief, fear, trauma and extreme anxiety. And this woman has only just fucking had a baby. She was 4... Well, I suppose when she was filming it, she was 4 months postpartum. So what, the baby's probably a year now? That's awful. She's been experiencing repeated and painful physical symptoms as a result of this experience. Mr. Reynolds too has been affected mentally, physically and professionally by his wife and children's pain. Worst of all, however, has been the impact on their young children who've been traumatized and emotionally uprooted in ways that have substantially impacted their well-being. Some of them would be old enough to understand what's going on, and I bet they were slagged in school, and that makes me just wanna clock Justin Baldoni right in the jaw, right in the jaw, bastard. Okay. Through this action on the CRD complaint, she seeks to set the record straight, hold the Wayfarer parties and associates accountable and to shine a light on this new form of retaliation so it would not be used against any others who seek to stand up and speak out against sexual harassment. Yes. Okay, this is all legal bollocks here, I think. Yeah, it's like, it is against the law to discriminate against an employee because she's opposed any practices forbidden under title. Obviously, like, this is all legal jargon. Third cause of action, sexual harassment. Okay. Fourth cause of action, retaliation. Fifth cause of action, retaliation in violation of the California Labour Code. Sixth cause of action, failure to investigate, prevent and or remedy harassment in violation of that. Seventh cause of action, aiding and abetting harassment and retaliation. Eighth cause of action, breach of contract, actor loan-out agreement. The actor loan-out agreement is a valid and enforceable contract between her company and their company. And what? Paragraph 7 of the agreement strictly prohibited sexual harassment. Okay. I mean, that's really smart to have the contract, frankly, and it's not something I ever would have thought to put in a contract. Breach of contract on the contract rider. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. 11th cause of action, negligence, infliction of emotional distress. 12th, false light, invasion of privacy. Ooh, this is interesting because I teach about this false light thing. I'm so going to use this in my lecture. The false light created by the disclosures of the defendants will be highly offensive and objectionable to a reasonable person. Fuck yeah. The defendants knew this public disclosure would create a false impression about Miss Lively or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. Oh, I'm so going to use this in my lectures. It's amazing. 13th cause of action, sexual harassment in violation of California Civil Code. Lord above. Prayer for relief. What? Is that how they phrase it? That's very strange. Okay. Plaintiff prays, weird phrasing, for the following relief. For a money judgment representing compensatory damages, including consequential damages, lost wages, earning, and all other sums of money together with interest on these amounts in an amount to be proven at a trial. That could be a lot. For an award of money judgment for mental pain and anguish and severe and serious emotional distress in an amount to be proven at trial. For pre- and post-judgment interest. For statutory and civil penalties. For punitive damages according to proof. For attorney's fees and costs incurred by Miss Lively. And for other such legal and equitable relief as the court deems appropriate. She is taking him to the cleaners. And she demands a jury trial on all causes of action trialable by jury. Please put this on television. Please. Please live stream it. Please. We got through all 93 pages. How good is that? I can't believe we actually did that. That's crazy. We got through all 93 pages. That sounds like it could be enough to make that billionaire backer cry. Oh my God, I forgot about the billionaire backer. Actually, surely they do have the money then. Or is it limited like to how much money the company has and not how much money that dude has? Shirley, don't call me Shirley. Yeah, that was exciting. I enjoyed getting through that. I can't believe we got through the 93 pages. That was amazing. And I'm very excited to see Justin Baldoni get his ass handed to him in court. And I really would like to literally see it. I would really like if they were to put it on television, on live stream, on YouTube, please. Thank you. I really want to be able to react to it. This is going to be more exciting than the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. But we'll all have to be very careful because they could be doing more. That PR firm could be doing more bollocksing. So we'll all have to be very... What's the word? We'll have to think very critically about what we're watching if they put it on live stream. If that dude promised 100 mil to ruin their family, then he's part of the case. I think that was like a comment, like a throwaway comment he said to someone, and they might actually get rid of that because of hearsay, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, thank you to everyone who followed. I don't know if anyone subbed during the stream because it doesn't tell me in this chat that I have, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out, how, and make it tell me. But it told me when people were following, so thank you for that. His cash paid $1.175, then he's in it. Ooh, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So yeah, what do you think? Are you team Baldoni? Are you team Blake? I think it's very obvious what I am. Yes, Dan. Welcome to all the new folks. I kind of want to buy her hair stuff. Is that nuts? Blake, what is it? Blake Brown, was it? It was Blake Brown. Let's have a look. It's kind of gross looking. €20 for a dry shampoo now, in fairness. It's a bit nuts, isn't it? I hear the baby crying. I'm gonna have to go soon. How much is the shampoo? €19 for shampoo. Dollar dues. Nourishing shampoo. Yeah, it's not for me. I agree with you. It's kind of an ugly website, and the product's kind of ugly as well. The name also sucks. Like, this looks disgusting here. This Rich Reset Pre-Shampoo Mask. Like, look how crumpled it looks. I'm assuming that's like this is a aesthetic thing, but like, look how crumpled all the packaging looks. Ugh. This is a nicer picture of it, in fairness. But yeah, these are very pretty pictures of lovely hair, in fairness. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not. I think I'm alright, to be honest. I think I can do that. What's this? 2 streams with Clare and her Irish eyes smiling. You are actually just joining us. We're ending Mac Attack. Unfortunately, we've just gone through 93 pages in the Blake Lively lawsuit to figure out which team we're on. Jello, the website is too beige. Dan, the packaging is awful too. Yeah, I agree. Gross. What we do in the shadows? Fair play to you. You're still here. You've stayed the whole time. That's impressive. Jill O'Reilly, can I be team? Hopefully this trial doesn't get handled by streamers like the Temper trial. Yep. Definitely. Yep. The new time is at least a little bit more doable on the East Coast. My new stream time, really? Fuck yeah. So I think that this is the best time for me, is going to be between 6 p.m. Irish time and 9 p.m. Irish time. So the easier it is to hand him off before 6, the closer to 6 I'll be on. And then I'll be able to go to about 9, because about 9 is another feed and bedtime. And I just want to be available to help Alex in case he needs me. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave him stranded. Because bedtime's tough. The daytime feeds are fine. Like I can skip the 6 o'clock. No problem. But the 9 o'clock one, the feed's fine, but the actual bedtime bit is just, I feel bad if I left him alone for that. Also, he'd be screaming in the room next to me, so you'll be able to hear it. I went live at 2 p.m. EST. Oh, very good. Mac Attack, anything new coming out in the Try channel with you? There should be. I think so. I was in the Try channel before Christmas in a couple of shoots, and I feel like they haven't all come out yet. And I specifically remember because I texted in to be like, will I bring Christmas clothes? And I wasn't in any of the Christmas shoots. They were like, no, don't bother. So I feel like there's one or two that still haven't come out yet. But I might be wrong. The only undoable time I think you streamed was playing some video games with your girlfriends in the middle of the night EST a year or two ago. That was a great stream. It's so many fucking technological difficulties, but it was, once we got it going, that was brilliant to be involved in. Pagan organised that. Yeah, that was brilliant. Pagan's great. She really super creative, and like that was such a really good idea, and it was really well organised, and I was like, I remember just being blown away, being like, I don't think I would be able to do this. I was really impressed with it. We were playing Among Us, I think. The video is still, the video's up on my YouTube channel, my live YouTube channel. All right, kind of need to go to the toilet, so I think that's a good time to call it to a halt. Thank you so much for joining, and no matter what your opinion on Blake versus Justin, hope you have one now. We can always go through his response another time, or fuck Justin Baldoni. We don't have to, because he's a prick, in my opinion. Bye, guys. I will stay awesome, Mac. I'll do my best. No worries for not getting here sooner, Mac. You can always rewatch. Well, I will trim the highlight on YouTube, and you can just watch the bit where we talked about the lawsuit if you want. Cut out all the shy talk at the start. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Bye.